Most of my adult life, I've always wanted to own a pickup truck. My wife, Janet, will say it's because I'm from Texas, and it must be somewhat of a DNA thing. And I agree with her on most things, but I don't agree with that, because if you follow that logic thread, I would own a wide array of firearms, and I don't. And I'd also believe that the governor down there was an intelligent, forward-thinking humanitarian. And he's not. I just wanted a pickup truck, that's all. So one of my colleagues had one, and I would use it on occasion, and everything was going very well with that. It was a very well-maintained 10-year-old Dodge Ram 1500, and for the little bit of hauling that I did, it was perfect. Only one problem: on a couple of these trips, the brakes went out. And I'm talking went out all the way down to the floorboard while in traffic trying to figure out how to stop this thing. It would be taken to the garage, it would be looked over, and they would come back with the diagnosis of nothing being wrong with the brake system. Okay, and there are other times it worked just fine. So, as fate would have it, I was able to buy this truck from my colleague for $1,000, a pretty good deal, but they had no longer had any need for it. So, and guess what happened? Once again, the brakes went out. So I hauled it to Dodge and said, look, you go through this thing and figure out what's going on, because this is the third time this has happened, and I don't know about you, but I don't need that anymore. Once again, they came back and they said, hey, no air in the lines, everything's perfect, the brakes are working. Okay, so time marches on. Janet and I are going one spring day to get some mulch. And we're driving along, and I start smelling some burning leaves. So I make some smart-ass comment about some knucklehead who didn't take care of his leaves in the fall, and so now he has to do it in the spring, and since there's no leaf collection, he's burning them. Okay, so then the smell gets stronger, and I notice there's smoke coming out from under the hood. And, okay, that's not good. And I get to the top of the hill, and there are frank flames coming out from under the hill. And I mean, really, this is it. And it scared the hell out of me, worse than the brakes. Because what am I going to do? I can't leave it in the middle of the road. I can't go to the convenience store, because with gas pumps and a flaming vehicle, not a real good idea. So I coax it over to the side, we grab our phones, bail out of the vehicle, get away from it, and 5 seconds later we hear this whoomp. And what that was the fireball that blew into the cab of the truck. So we're standing there watching this thing consume our truck. People are coming out of the convenience store, taking pictures and videos, and our tires are exploding, sounding like rifle shots. Police and fire show up. The fire brigade captain comes to me and says, finds out what's going on. I said, I smelled this burning leaves. And he goes, squirrels. They get in there, they make nests out of leaves, they chew the insulation off the wires, sets up a fire hazard, and you got this. And I said, okay, fine. So we get a ride home in the back of the police car. Neighbors are probably still trying to figure that one out. I called the owner of the truck to find out what was going on, or just to tell her what was going on, to close the loop. She says to me, well, I think maybe I better inform you a little bit more about this truck, because it belonged to a former girlfriend, significant other of hers. And she met her fate in a bar one night while inserting herself in a domestic abuse situation, and ended up catching 2 in the chest at point blank and died almost instantaneously. Because these 2 women were still not involved, she still had her in her will. And she gave her several things in the will, including the pickup truck, because she didn't want anybody else to have her stuff. okay? She said, I think maybe there might be a possession or a haunting of this thing. Sort of took a little bit of a Stephen King-esque turn here. So I'm left to sit around and think, was it squirrels or was it a malevolent spirit that was pissed off at me for being a slow learner and not getting rid of the truck after the brake incident and having to burn the thing down to get it away from me? I prefer to think it was squirrels. Two decent things happened, however. Janet and I didn't end up in a burn center, and we got $250 from the salvage company for the skeletal, burned-out remains of our flaming pickup truck of doom. Thank you very much.